Well, it was good to get off to a fast start. These guys have, once again come out of the gate quickly, and defense answering right away. And again, I'm not sure what the magic formula is there, but that sort of helps things. Really good, clean first half. Excited and proud of those guys. I know, as we head down the stretch here, it's not going to always be like this with these teams we have coming, and be something we talk about and work on, and that'll be a new challenge for us. But pleased with how hard these guys played. Coming off a bye, sometimes it can take a minute to get going, and it really didn't. I thought pass game was pretty explosive, a little bit different than we've kind of had in the past. Sometimes we're ball control and high completions, and we were throwing it down the field and taking chances. And I think we got 3 touchdowns through the air on these guys, which have been pretty stingy for most of the season, not giving up anything through the air. So it was good to get that going a little bit. So,
how much does that change the way you're able to call the game and when you're up 21-0 in the first quarter as consistently as you guys have been?
Well, it certainly, gives it a different vibe, and again, sometimes I think you certainly like a lead, but sometimes it also can change the energy, and I thought that the energy changed a little bit at halftime, coming back out. I think in the whole stadium and with our guys a little bit, I still think guys were playing hard, but, I like to see that intensity from how it is that first quarter throughout the whole game. And we got a lot of guys in, so that was good to see. And, yeah. We got all kinds of stuff going on here.
What was you said you didn't know how they're going to respond after a layoff, and so they deflected it. Was that designed specifically to get everybody?
Well, we've been working, certain plays like that we work on for a while, and sometimes they don't get called. It wasn't, we think if they fit the scheme that we're going to see, we'll kind of carry it over, those type of things. It wasn't designed other than to, try to get an explosive play. And, they did a good job with that.
How do you think Jake played today?
Like I said, I think it was a little bit different game, just in terms of the type of things that we were calling, those explosive down the field. And I thought he was, I thought the pass game was explosive. I'll be anxious to go back and put the tape on and just kind of look at the whole thing. Half the plays I forget, the ones that are just kind of nondescript. You always kind of remember the really good ones and really bad ones. I don't know if there was a bunch of really bad ones. I thought, one into the end zone that might have been picked off. He got pressured, and so he couldn't throw it. It was a long, deep throw. He couldn't throw it on time, and so that caught us a little bit. But, I'm proud of our offense for not turning the ball over. Those guys are pretty stingy with giving it away, and for the most part, if we don't put our defense in a real bad situation, good thing for us.
Seems like you guys have avoided letdowns at any point this year. Is that something you're pretty pleased with?
Yeah, I think this has been a pretty focused crew all along, and they've kind of been. They go to work, they practice hard, and I kind of talk about that. I mean, that's their job. That's what they should be excited to play and all those things. But I will tell you, it's. We expect a lot out of these guys when they come into this building, and we do not go through the motions. And if we'll go on the practice field tomorrow is the day we go out there, and we'll get some work done. We'll have a lot of things to clean up and correct, and the intensity that they study the tape and the meetings, and how serious they take it, and so all that's been really, really good. And we've been telling them all along. I mean, we're going to need that to continue to progress, certainly with the teams that we have coming on our schedule.
Can you tell us about Joe Mathis and just how much did it impact the defense not having him out there?
Well, Joe's a good player. Expect to get him back. We'll see. But he's an explosive pass rusher. And so anytime that, a guy like that you don't have, that changes things. But it's great to see other guys, Connor get in there more and Benning get in there. And his next man up. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. But, we're optimistic that we'll get Joe back in there soon. I don't know when, but soon.
Chris, what are your plans or guidelines or how in terms of rotating in guys and trying to play as many guys as you've been able to?
Yeah, each coach kind of has his own own agenda, and I think everybody's pretty good at it, pretty aware of it. You know, we want to give as many guys a piece of the game plan as we can. I think that that's really important to keep guys on their toes, to develop depth, to keep guys working hard at practice. I mean, football practice is tough, and it's at times not a lot of fun. And for a guy to show up every day and give his all and not really get into the game, that's a hard thing. And we're really aware of that as coaches. So we want to play as many guys as we can. And I think a lot of guys got in today. But even, you know, when the game's tight, I mean, other guys need to get in. I think Coach Strasser's done a good job with that O-line. That's a hard group to rotate. The quarterback one's a hard one to rotate. But I think, you know, Coach K does a great job. Coach Malloy on that defensive front, those front seven, Bob Gregory with the linebackers. I mean, a lot of those guys play, and I think it helps us in the long run.
I think Pettis has had a couple of really big games against Oregon. Is that a scheme thing, or is it a function of you scaring everybody with John Ross?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think he's a good player, is what I think. I think he's a really good player. I mean, he understands what he's trying to get done out there. I mean, he's really kind of an acrobatic type receiver. You know, he has very good range. You know, Jake's usually pretty accurate with that, but when he's not, Dante can make a tough catch. And I think he's just, you know, he's taking his game to a next step in his game in terms of really understanding technique and details of routes, and I think that's all showing up. I know it doesn't, you know, it always helps to have a couple guys out there that can make plays. And I think we feel like that. You know, I know John and Dante are getting a lot of balls, but some of those other guys can do some things as well. That we're not afraid to throw those guys out there.
Jake, I know the whole stadium kind of held their breath when he was down near the goal line and took on the tackler.
Yeah.
Is that a little bit of an uneasy feeling for you?
Well, I think he's got to be a smart runner. I think he is a pretty smart runner. I think he forgot what down it was. And so I think there's certain times that you got to go and get yourself in the end zone or get a first down. And I think it was a second down, and I think he was thinking it was a different down. And, you know, I think he'll be a smarter runner than that. I mean, those are not the shots that we want that guy to take. We don't want our quarterback to take those type of shots. And but he's got to run. He will be effective. It's a weapon when he does run. I always kind of want him to run more when he comes out of that pocket looking to throw. I always want him to take off and go. I think he can get yards, but I think he has a good balance and a good feel for when to go and really when to go down as well. I think he knew right after he took the shot. He probably got lucky coming out of that one clean.
Is that what you said to him when he came off there?
Yeah, we just were talking about that. Mm-hmm.
John Ross had over 100 receiving yards in the first quarter, and it looked like he was going to have a really big game. Did anything contribute to his lack of targets later on?
No, not really. You know, I think we just, you know, we have, even early on, we want to make sure John gets the ball. We want to make sure Dante gets the ball. We want to make sure Miles gets the ball, you know, so we're trying to do that. And, you know, and then you're calling different things and setting different things up, and sometimes it goes in spurts and then not. There was no really conscious thought behind it one way or another. Why not? All righty. Thank you, guys.